Today on the Hangout, we honor Zeke Jarman's 10,000th career rebound. We also got to go big game hunting with the guy we're calling the foodie, James Harden, MVP. And we also got to wrap up the Raptors' big loss to Mirotic and the Bulls. All that on today's episode of the Hangout. Hangout! If you haven't figured out, the title of this show is Hangout. My name is Akil Augustine, and we are talking basketball for the next half hour. All of your favorite topics from around the NBA. And I have my partner in crime on this show, the guy who bookends the panel, Dan Gladman, yet another obscure rock and roll referencing shirt. Please explain this fashion faux pas.
This is a TV show, man.
Oh, is it? I can't read
Better
it.
Call Saul. It's on AMC. And by the way,
out.
Gary Durant called. He'd like his threads back.
Whoa! Shots fired already?
You're looking too good, man. You're looking too good
Mad
today.
at the Gucci.
The shoes. Can we
Restart
see
the
the
show.
shoes?
Hey,
Yeah.
So you guys know that we like our guests. We kind of try to keep it tight, keep the family close. Trix is our resident comedian, but Trix is on tour, so we had to reach into our team, and of course Jay Martin making his debut appearance.
First time in the building, I feel you knocking, and you let me in, people. You let me in.
All right, and it probably won't be his last. And of course, resident hipster, the other beard that we fear on this show, and that is, of course, Devo Brown. Devo, thank you for coming out. Nice watch. That thing is
Thank you.
huge.
I appreciate that. That's what she said.
Okay.
So also, hipsters will be disappointed if this is your
Hipster?
idea of a hipster. They're all shaking their
Man,
heads
stop
right now.
faking the funk. You hip as they come. Here we go. Let's get into it, of course.
Do it.
To start this show, of course, we're going to go and do a little big game hunting. Jump into it, but this time the big game is the Toronto Raptors versus the Chicago Bulls. Recently, the Raptors were in Chicago, and they lost that game. But, of course, they matched up another loss to the Toronto Raptors. Despite that, they did clinch a playoff spot. That's not the way you want to do it. Jimmy Butler returning from injury, getting 23 points to the Toronto Raptors. Here you see DeMar DeRozan going right back at Jimmy B, getting 20 points with 5 assists. But the story, of course, down the stretch, 17 of 22 points in the of shots in the fourth quarter for the Bulls. You see Mirotic and Tony Snell both pitching in off the bench with 15 and 17 respectively. The Raptors lose the game, but the story is this team is one-dimensional right now. There's no defense coming out there. You talk about a fourth quarter where they looked more than porous. How big is the gulf between these two teams, Dan? Because we've seen now them play themselves on Friday and now here in Toronto, and it didn't look like the Toronto Raptors had a chance come the second half of both games without Derrick Rose.
Look, the Raptors put together a good defensive half in Detroit in the second half of that game. But as we've been saying on this show, as the coaches keep saying, they need a 48-minute effort. The Chicago Bulls are a really, really good team.
Yeah.
They are scary, and Derrick Rose is coming back in a week to 10 days, and I think they could give the Cavaliers a run for their money in a 7-game series in the East playoffs. So, I don't know if we've seen the Raptors lose 4 times to the Bulls this year. I think it's fair to say the Bulls are a better team.
But how big is that gulf? Is it?
It's a pretty big gulf right now. The Bulls beat them 4 times, but that's the kind of team that you're chasing. That's the kind of team you're aiming to improve so you can compete with them, in the near future. So right now, I have to say it's a bit of a gulf. The Bulls are one of the elite teams in the league.
Jay, let me get.
I think the golf is huge. I think it's Great Canyon. Great Canyon, big hole in it. I think we need to actually, emulate our team a little bit like that. Let's start from the bigs, get more bigs in there, rebounding. I think it's a huge gulf between us. I think we got a lot to learn. All of the guys that come on their team work in a system. They know what they're going to get. It's nice.
A guy like Taj Gibson comes in and completely dominates the pass. It was hard to see.
Everybody plays their role. That's the thing, and we're not having that on our squad.
Yeah, and with the Raptors, too, a big role missing, of course, is the presence of Kyle Lowry, currently out with some back issues. Attempted to play in Detroit. The soreness came back. He had to sit down, didn't play against Chicago. How long are you comfortable with the Toronto Raptors sitting Kyle out, knowing that you're trying to conserve him?
Not at all.
Playoffs. You're
not at all, because right now, the way the Raptors look, and you know that I'm a huge Raptors fan, and I don't want anybody yelling at me for this, but I'm going to get yelled at. I don't think they're making it out of the first round, no matter who they play.
How could you?
No, but no matter who they play, the way they look right now, they are not getting out of the first round. Maybe against Washington, which is the matchup right now, but we need Kyle back in that lineup so they can get that chemistry. There's no chemistry out there.
Devo,
Defense is weak.
The playoffs start in 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Really, these next 10 games, based on your argument, it kind of doesn't matter because you're setting the bar at winning a round or not.
Right.
So why does Lowry even need to play in these next
think
10
so.
games?
I gotta agree with you.
You
I
want him
think he
playing in
needs to
game
sit.
1,
All
right?
the big teams do that. They make the players sit until it's
Well,
time
he-
for them
I
to
mean,
play
But,
off
but
the
that's
rest.
something
the
that
problem
goes
is
against
the
the
dudes,
game.
but
But
those
we aren't
big
those
teams,
yet.
but those big teams already have that chemistry, and they're
Yes.
winning going
Yes.
into it. We're not. We are. When's
You
the
need
last
to
time?
give him as much time as he needs to get
Well, yeah,
healthy.
you want him healthy. That's the first and the most important thing. But you're at every game. When was the last time we saw a full 48-minute effort from this team with a full squad?
All right.
We
Now-
haven't. It's been a while, and we need that going
been some
into
time.
playoffs, right?
And speaking to that, of course, last time we talked about a guy like Lou Will, as we take a look at the Lowry injury, like Lou Will's going to get significant amount of shots in time while Lowry's out. But at a point, he was hands down our pick for Sixth Man of the Year. Now you're looking at Lou Will. He's had his stretches on and off. Very questionable shot late in the game against Detroit. Where do you stand on how this guy's helped the team so far?
I think he definitely could still be Sixth Man of the Year because when Lou is out there, you have to cover him. I know it's not the same as when the season started,
But it's kind of all or nothing with Lou, is it, at this point?
Yeah.
Not, guys? Like,
Yeah,
he's going to help you or he's going to hurt you.
Well, he even said it himself, right? I like whatever way he likes to cross over, step back, pull up for that three. The entire league knows that's the shot he wants to make.
coming.
And in the last 30 seconds of a game, when it's been a close game, how many times has he hit that shot? I love Lou. I think he's a great player, but he's got to change it up a little bit.
Dan, before you jump in, let's take a look at this shot now. This is a shot that hit the internet. People have been talking about, hot button topic with the Toronto Raptors. Lou Williams, end of game scenario. They're winding down the clock, and Lou does what he does. He massages the ball onto the floor a little bit, but he's taking like a 38-foot triple. DeMar DeRozan had been rolling prior to. Was this a shot to take for the Toronto Raptors? Dan, you were there.
Well, look, Lou was rolling too. He was 6 of 10 at that point, and that is his shot. You play for the tie at home. You play for the win on the
But
road.
whose shot is that from that deep?
He hits,
That's
look,
Larry
he
Bird's shot,
hits that shot.
possibly.
Lou Williams shoots about 41% on the season. That's not as high an efficiency as you
From the
want.
field,
But
not-
to answer your original question, yes, I think he's in the mix for the best six man.
Definitely.
They're still going to win their division.
Yeah.
They're making the playoffs. He's been a huge part of their success this year. A lot of it was early in the season, but he's been fabulous. I think the sixth man is between him and Jamal Crawford of the Clippers.
I was going to say
1 and 1A.
Andre Iguodala. He's not in that question. He's not in that argument.
That's good,
here's
but
a
I don't
name-
think he has the stats to get the vote.
I don't think
Fair.
he does either.
I don't
I
think
think
he'll get
adding the
voted.
minutes.
But he makes that team better, right? And Lou does make our team better.
Yeah, we
but
wouldn't
I
be
think
anywhere without
consistently
him.
and what the
Warriors
Golden State
would be
Warriors have done.
the Warriors would be fine without Iguodala.
Fair.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Without
That's
Williams,
fair.
the Raptors would have
He would
struggled.
be
Okay.
doomed,
Okay.
baby.
I can agree with
Fair
that.
arguments, but
Yeah.
I do get you points for the fact that you brought up Andre because I think he's overlooked very much so. But still more to come here on Canada's home for talking hoops. On the other side of the break, we got to go big game hunting. We got the King, LeBron James, of course, playing, and you got the chef, the foodie, what you want to call him. He's eating up the NBA. Harden, Hangout. We up.